The state of the state of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA, as I know it. It looks weird when you say it out the words there. It's up in the air after the act expired on Friday, both chambers of Congress failing to pass an extension for the first time since its inception. This happening as World Cup matches begin across America this week. They are expected to draw in more than 5 million foreign visitors. And many in Congress are raising the alarm that this lapse in surveillance threatens the country's safety. Ahead of America's 250 celebrations just kicking off. Joining me now, Texas Congresswoman Beth Van Duyne. Congresswoman, thank you. Welcome to the show. I mean, what kind of threat are we looking at now?
Well, I mean, quite honestly, right now, I think we're still safe as long as all the companies are working with us to try to get the information that we need when we have a threat. But as you mentioned before, you've got FIFA, you've got the 250th celebration of our nation's history. All of these events are happening, and all of these events are potentially terrorist targets. So I think, when you look at what happened just last week in Congress, you had nearly every single Democrat vote against this. This is the same party that has been, defund the police, defund ICE, open borders. We have got to get control of what is happening in Congress and understand that Democrats really don't seem to care about these threats at all. Yeah, we could have passed a bill, we could have had it open, but instead we are potentially at risk right now.
Yeah, and these FISA 702 briefings are a large part of the president's daily briefings, correct? Historically, not just now.
No, absolutely. This is something he's getting these intelligence briefings, and I'm not privy to that, but I can guarantee you right now what we are hearing just in Congress is that there are definitely legitimate threats that we have to take care of, and this is why getting the FISA courts up and running is so important.
Yeah, especially as we noted, you got the World Cup, you have the 250 celebrations that are lasting for quite some time. And Congresswoman, there's more talk on Capitol Hill about the potential of a third reconciliation package ahead of the midterms in November. Alabama Senator Katie Britt, she was on with Maria Bartiromo yesterday with what the Senate's next steps should be. So watch here and we'll get your reaction on the other side.
So we've got to make sure, Maria, that our troops have what they need to keep Americans safe and to keep peace and prosperity moving across the globe. So, yes, we will do what it takes. And if that is a reconciliation 3.0, then that's what we'll do. We would love to go through the regular appropriations process. But, Maria, at the end of the day, Democrats have shown they are absolutely unwilling to work with Republicans in any way, shape, or form. Yeah. Their hate for President Trump clouds their vision. They are putting that in front of the safety and security of the American people. It is my guess that they don't come to the table through the regular appropriations process. And then we have to take a look, Maria. Is that a reconciliation 3.0 that we do? Is it a shutdown fairness? Is it a Prevent Government Shutdown Act? Look, everything will be on the table because failure is not an option. We're going to make sure to keep the people of America safe.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth reportedly meeting with House Republicans at the Pentagon last week to discuss plans for an increase in defense spending. Reconciliation 3.0 would include funding for President Trump's desired $1.5 trillion defense budget here. Congresswoman, there are only 16 legislative days left on the calendar before the August recess. 16, that's it. We're talking 2 weeks. Do you think there is an appetite in Congress for this, and can Republicans get this done?
No, I absolutely do. I mean, I think what you've seen on the House side is we've been able to pass our appropriations bill, and Katie Britt is absolutely correct that the Senate is just failing to act because Democrats will not vote for anything that comes out of this Trump administration. Right now, we are actively working on Reconciliation 3.0. It's going to include health care, housing, election fraud, election integrity, fraud, energy, defense, and tax portions. So, yeah, we are actively working on that. You can't make it as big as the first bill, because you don't want to get people a reason to vote against it. But it's absolutely important and imperative that we get this done. And if it has to go through reconciliation, meaning that you don't have to have full 60 votes in the Senate, so be it. It would be great if they could actually go through appropriations process the way it should be. But every single Democrat, it seems, in the Senate is fighting that.
Congresswoman, one of our panelists would like to ask you a question. Brylan, go ahead.
Congresswoman, I've debated on 10 campuses last semester. I heard from Gen Z, and a lot of their concerns and questions are, what is Congress going to do for me? And the examples that I lay out are the first reconciliation bills. They want to see a third one. They want to see some more unity on Capitol Hill. I know you'd like to see that as well. What can be done with the Democrat colleagues to go back to Gen Z in November and say, we earned your vote, we were able to work across the aisle, and finally bring the Democrats to the table?
It's a fantastic problem. I mean, it's a fantastic question. I mean, I really wish that they would be focused on the future. I mean, we looked at that working families tax cut bill. I mean, you looked at, child accounts, looking at everybody who's coming into this world and making sure that they were going to have an ability to be able to invest in the future. When you look at the tax cuts that we gave for working families, whether or not that was no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and what we did for seniors, this is all about growing the economy, making sure that we are solvent, that we are, continuing to be a superpower. And I think you look at what we're doing in Texas versus what we're doing in the rest of the country, and Texas is really far and above because policies matter. Focusing on bringing back jobs, increasing that economic growth, increasing those payroll taxes is imperative. And I think that's why you see a ton of companies that are leaving other states and come into Texas.
You're teeing me up perfectly right now because your home state of Texas has become the nation's hub for Fortune 500 companies, taking the crown from California and then some. So if you look at the 2026 Fortune 500 list, it shows Texas is now home to 57 corporate headquarters compared to California's 56. Texas Governor Greg Abbott saying the Lone Star State is the undisputed headquarters of headquarters. In the past year alone, companies including Exxon, Chevron, Samsung, SpaceX, Tesla, they are all now Texas-based. Congresswoman, what exactly, I know the tax code, but what exactly is drawing all these companies to Texas?
Well, one, we have a fantastic business community. People want to be there. People want to work there. People want to live there. You also look. You mentioned our tax code, but we are number one in manufacturing. We're number one in semiconductor manufacturing. Number one in energy production. In fact, if Texas were its own country, we would be the third largest energy producer, just behind Saudi Arabia and Russia. Energy is important right now. When you look at, Texas probably leading the way in AI in the future. Energy is going to be important. Our tax code is important. You're seeing all those financial companies leaving New York. You're seeing all those tech companies leaving California for places like Texas. We are going to continue to, I think, lead the way on that. Energy production is important. Policies are important.
Yeah, Texas has the data centers, and Venezuela is now producing 1.3 million barrels of oil a day. That's the heavy crude. The Gulf Coast,
and it's being refined in Texas.
Exactly. Congresswoman Beth Van Duyne, thank you so much. We're going to be right back here on Mornings with Maria.
Thank you. Have a great morning.